Welcome to another night review, everyone. Today we have the 2022 BMW M4 Competition, and as you approach the vehicle you get this special welcome lighting. So you've got the mirrors that unfold, lights that come from the doors, and then these headlights and tail lights will illuminate as well. But in this night review we're going to take a detailed look at all these exterior lights, the fancy laser lights, interior ambient lighting, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. So starting right up front, if you haven't seen any of my night reviews, be sure to look in the description below because we try to do them on a regular basis. Now, first of all, you've got the large kidney grille here on this BMW, and these are the LED, the Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser lights. So you'll see the running lights or the accent light around the actual headlight housing. Looks very nice. There's even a little light on the very inside. You can't really see it right now, but I'll show you that in a second. And then on this side, you'll see that the blinker takes over one part of the headlight, and then the turning light is on the very inside corner, and I have the high beams on now. So the low beams are up high, the high beams are actually down low, and you'll see little blue accents inside of here. That means you have the BMW laser lights, and we'll take them out on the road in just a sec. Now the paint color on this one is called Toronto Red. It's a little bit of an orangey red, and the camera makes it look a little bit more orange than what it actually is. It definitely differs depending on different times of the day and different lighting scenarios. You'll see a little light coming from the door handle. There is some door handle approach lighting, 19-inch wheels in the front, 20-inch wheels in the back, the carbon fiber mirrors and accents, and this is convertible soft top, as you can see. And then looking at the back, you're going to get full LED taillights, of course, even LED license plate lights, a red turn signal integrated right inside of there. I like these taillights. I like how it's a clean look, but you've still got this pretty large portion. You even have the M4 Competition badge right up above the taillight, and then a quad exhaust tip down below. And these taillights are pretty interesting. They're adaptive LED taillights, so they actually get brighter in emergency braking situations. And then you can see the reverse lights integrated right in. Now underneath of here, this is a power trunk. You can open it with a key fob or from inside. You can see the nice bright lights there. And then this, since it's a convertible, it's a little bit smaller, but this is really well illuminated actually. There's an LED light and it's like a black hole right there, but there is some space for extra storage a little bit further back there. And getting into the BMW is great because you've got lighting coming from the door handles. And when you open up, you've actually got a really nice bright puddle light that shines down on the ground and makes it a nice bright entry. Really, the only thing missing here is an illuminated door sill. But look, you even got some ambient lighting on the door right there. We'll go through that in a little bit. And a really nice interior overall. You've got upgraded leather in here. You even get the M4 logo built in and integrated into both seats. And you can see this from outside the vehicle, and it's a really nice touch. All right, now that we're inside, there are some nice and neat features in here, and let's go ahead and start it up. Push button starts right there. Got a great sound. I'll show you the headlights in just a second, but we got two big displays that you can see right off the bat. So over on the door, you'll see the lock buttons are illuminated, ambient lighting along the door. All of your buttons and window switches, mirror switches, even memory settings are all illuminated, and you've got some ambient lighting down in the bottle holder. And it's also nice because you even have a trunk opening button down there. Everything's got a light. Even the air conditioning vent control has a light. More ambient lighting here, and then these are your actual light controls for your parking lights, automatic lights, even interior brightness controls on that wheel right there. So for example, when I adjust that wheel for brightness, it adjusts every screen. Both of these screens can dim or brighten with that. And same with these buttons. So like all of the buttons, like the control knob, the buttons on the steering wheel, the buttons up there, everything dims or brightens accordingly with that. You got a heated steering wheel here. It's very nice, very comfortable, all well illuminated with some red backlighting. Now this fully digital display can be somewhat customizable, not as much as some, but it does change information over there, just a small amount of information. And then in the middle, you've got driver assist features, speed on the left, or if you change your drive modes, the whole thing can change with that as well. Right up overhead, you've got a head-up display that can be changed. It also changes with the drive mode, so that was sport. Now we have just the regular drive mode, and it can even show driver assist information as well. Another nice thing is this display right over here. So it's pretty bright. You've got a little over 12-inch screen right here. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's easy to control. It is touchscreen, or you can control it with a dial. Go back to regular BMW, and you've got BMW's system here with a lot of different customizable information. So if we go to car settings, you can change your interior lighting, ambient lighting, exterior lighting. I'll go through a little bit more of this, but we're on our exterior lighting. This is where you can have the 3-tap turn signal. You can even turn off your daytime running lights, the lighting for when you enter and exit the vehicle, pathway lighting for 20 seconds, and then your door handle lights, you can even have those off or on right here as well. One thing you might be wondering is, how do you do the automatic high beams? All you gotta do is press this button right here, and then on the display, you'll see a little A symbol right there. So if I press that again, automatic high beams off, automatic high beams on, or you can just flick them forward like normal. But if you move on over to displays, you can determine your head-up display, even the brightness of the head-up display, or turn it off. Same thing with your instrument panel, can be slightly reconfigured, or just this regular display. And you can turn the whole thing off, change the brightness as well. So that's awesome. But there's more. Let's go to the interior lighting. So you can turn ambient lighting on or off, change the color. Let me show you some of these different colors. So you'll go from a bronze and white, orange, all the way down through these. So not a million different colors, but let me zoom out and show you. So we're on green. We've got a green band over there on the door, in the door pockets, the footwells, even down here by the wireless charging mat, cup holders, my footwells, and then up overhead, you've got a couple of little lights right there as well. So those even change green or whatever color you want to turn it to. Now I just changed it to blue and white. So you're gonna have blue on the lower portions, like down there, the footwells, and then you'll have white on the upper portions. So you can change it through different colors, whatever kind of colors you want. You can do all white if you want. You can do like a purpley color. What color would you go with? You've got a few different options, and it really looks nice all over the place. And like I said, you can turn it up, turn it down. It's turned all the way up right now. You can turn it completely off if you want. You can also have it so that it dims when you start to drive. So you can have a lower key light. The camera is really kind of blowing this up a little bit. It definitely dimmed more than what it looks like. But what would you do? All the air conditioning control buttons, everything here illuminates well, even a little volume knob. To be honest, the red, so a lot of people like the red. Some people like different colors like white or like a bluish color. The red is definitely calm on the eyes, but I'd love to hear your comments below on what you prefer. Wireless charging mat, cup holders, and then a ton of different buttons down here. And the little glow of light from overhead really illuminates this section as well. So no questions about what buttons are what. Now in the center console, you even get some lighting in here. And now that's really nice to see. You don't always see something like that, and a backlit USB port. How about the glove box? Open that up. Oh yeah, that is nice and bright, softly lined, and soft opening. Right up overhead, we've got a vanity light and mirror. Next to these lights right here, you've got 3 different light buttons, your own individual lights or LED lighting overall overhead. And the LED lighting is fairly bright. It really kind of lights up these seats in this area for good reading lights or just visibility lights overall. Then you have an automatic dimming rearview mirror and an automatic dimming side mirror over here. Now let's go ahead and start it up. And there's just a subtle little narrowing movement of the adaptive function of these headlights. So as you can see, there is a nice strong beam pattern going out fairly wide. There's a pretty significant dip, which is to help prevent oncoming drivers being blinded. But as you can see, nice and wide beam pattern right there, definitely very bright. Now out to the side, if I go ahead and turn the signal or start to turn the wheel, it automatically illuminates over to each side of the vehicle. So we've got these cornering lights that do a really nice job at low speeds of turning that on. I'll show you the adaptive function in a second, but if I turn the high beams on, watch these headlights just kind of fade in and fade out. So not only does the beam pattern raise, you also get the laser function of the high beam right out in front, and that is definitely nice and bright. We'll get them out on the road in a sec. These are not rated by the IIHS as of right now, but some other BMWs with these Icon adaptive laser lights get a good rating, which is the best rating. Now to give you a long distance look at these lights, I always like to line up on this hill. You can easily see the red posts on the right, the obvious dip in the middle, and there's still some light traveling and making it to the hill over there. It's a decently wide beam pattern with good distance in front of us. Turn the high beams on. That illuminates that entire hill. So you can really see how well these high beams do. And if you look off to the side, you can see the beam pattern sit low and then high beams, the beam pattern raises. So you've got extremely wide and extremely bright high beams. Can't wait to get these out on the road because these high beams are also adaptive. All right, y'all, let's get going on this test drive here. So this car is an absolute pleasure to drive. If you want to see more details on everything, be sure to check out my full detailed review. We're going to go through this drive, primarily talking about the headlights, automatic high beams, how good or bad they are, either way. One quick thing to know. Now, those of you watching in countries outside the US, you probably have a more advanced version of BMW's headlights, because in the US we get a dumbed down version of the laser lights and of high beams in general, or headlights in general, because our high beams have to be completely dimmed for the automatic function, or completely off. So like low beams, high beams, there's no pixelated or different, I can't remember the terms, but partial dimming to where like high beams can stay on and a part of the headlight dims out to not blind oncoming drivers, but part of the high beam stays on. It's either low beams or high beams. So we don't get the full effect here in the US, in case you're wondering. So it's just automatic high beams, which I'll have on sometimes. I'm going to turn those on right now. And it'll have the headlight marker with an A inside of it. For driving impressions, be sure to check out my full daytime review. But I love the cornering lights in here. As soon as you signal or start to turn, you've got good illumination next to you. And my high beams are on right now, blinding that car, and now they're off. So that's strike number one right there. We had cross traffic and it still turned the high beams on. The thing is, there is a difference in the high beams when you turn the high beam stock on, or if you just pull it towards you to flash. When you pull it towards you to flash and hold it, the beam pattern does not raise like it does otherwise. Non-sport mode in this M4 Competition. Check it out. This car will give you some butterflies. It is an absolute blast to drive. More in the full review, but we'll start out on this road. The high beams turned on for a sec and now they're off, so it's just the low beams. And you get an adaptive function side to side still with the low beams, so they do a nice job. But we'll get on a really dark road here in just a second. Quick note, the rearview mirror is automatic dimming, and so is this driver's side mirror over here as well, which is really nice to see, especially in a price point like this at $100,000. Oncoming traffic over there, low beams are on, and now the high beams just turned on. And it's a nice fade into the high beams and fade out of the high beams. So it's not like boom, boom. It's just a nice crescendo into some bright light. High beams are still on, so these street lights do not have a negative effect on them. They're not shy at all. We'll get on a dark road. Real quick, before we get on the dark road, what do you think of the ambiance in here? I like the ambient lighting. I like how it's customizable. Car just came around the corner. Our high beams turned off. Another car, they stayed off, so that's good. But more on the ambient lighting, different colors, different brightness. It's just a nice glow and ambiance in here. You can brighten and dim screens very easily. It's a really pleasant place to be. All right, we are now about to get on a dark road here. Switch over to the close-up camera, and I'm gonna actually start with just low beams so we can see how those do. Coming over the hill, then flip into the high beams, flip down to the low beams. I'll go back and forth. So I want to see this low beam pattern and how far it reaches out. In my lane, it reached out to that corner pretty quickly. We'll leave it in the low beams just to go around the corner, watch the headlights start to turn. They're turning, working their way up the road. So they are very quickly adaptive and very, as I should say, responsive. Now I'm turning on the automatic high beams. High beams are now on. I can see very far down into that corner. The high beam distance is going to be good, and it's really wide. I mean, it illuminates the trees on the left and the right really well, so you've got excellent width with the high beams. And as we go around this corner, high beams are still on. The high beams are also adaptive, so you can see that beam pattern start to move left and right if I kind of move the car, the strongest point of the beam moves with me pretty darn efficiently. And then straight down, I can see the markers on the road way up ahead. Okay, the low beams are on now. High beams are on, crescendoed on, nice and bright down the road. Let's turn those off now. So as far as width goes, the width is all right with just the stock headlights. The cutoff line's a little bit abrupt on the oncoming driver's side, but that's to prevent blinding. The real champion here with this car is the high beams. The high beams do a really nice job. I wish I had some IIHS ratings with these specifically, but we're gonna get on a darker, skinnier road so we can get a good idea of what these look like. So right off the bat, we've got a car coming, got the low beams on. I'm gonna turn the automatic function on, and I have not had anybody flash me with these, which is great because that does happen sometimes, but I haven't had a problem with that in here. Beam pattern's a little bit shorter than I want for the low beams. High beams are on. They're really tall, really high, really bright. You can see up on the tree wall over there just how bright those are. That looks really good. Very bright down the road. So rural drivers are gonna love these headlights. Absolutely love the headlights for sure. Even at low speeds like this, you get the adaptive function, the cornering light. If I stop here, turn the high beams on, you can't tell with these cameras, but the distance is just really good and it's pretty darn high. Now, what are your thoughts on these headlights? So I wish that I could show you the European version of some of the headlights and how it kind of takes out parts of the high beam when cars come on, but these headlights definitely do a good job. It's my first experience with BMW headlights. I like the interior as well, just the interior in general and the ambient lighting in here. Let me know what you think down below, and if you want to see more night videos like this, be sure to leave a thumbs up because that really helps me out. Comment down below what your favorite or least favorite thing is and what you thought of these headlights. But thank you so much for watching. Let's do one more little acceleration run. This is the M4 Competition convertible. Pedal down. Oh, it just sounds amazing. More of that in the full review. But thank you so much. Have a good night.